Welcome to the Dance It, Change It podcast. Join your host, JC Cormac Neeland, and her guests every weekday as they talk about creating the next generation of free-thinking, confident, and innovative leaders. As a former dance studio owner and a lifelong dancer, JC is passionate about empowering youth to create positive change in themselves, their communities, and beyond through dance and movement. The Dance It, Change It podcast is filled with inspiration, tips, stories, and plenty of laughs along the way. Get ready because you can create change just by dancing, and you're about to find out how. Here's your host, JC Cormac Neeland.
Welcome. JC here. I'm super happy to have you listening and sharing because today I am going to be talking about moves, movies, and music. The goal here at Dance It, Change It is about sharing some different topics, different basic themes on those days of the week. Monday is going to be those moves, movies, and music Mondays when I share a Monday episode with you. Tuesday's going to be tips, and then we have some interviews and different things. And of course, don't forget the funny Fridays, because any of us that have performed, anybody that's been on stage definitely has probably at least one time that they have some funny story that happened. But I want to dive in with the concepts of music today. I want to talk about that a little bit more in depth because, most of us have probably always found a new song that strikes us and it just makes us want to move. Music and dance are very intricately intertwined, for that matter. We can dance without music, right? And we can play music and not dance. However, those two, music and dance, are truly tightly connected. So connected that our bodies pick up the rhythm. It keeps time. It kind of feels the pulse, and it makes us want to move. You'll notice sometimes somebody tapping their toe, or years past when I took dance students and performed at long-term care facilities or nursing homes. Often we would see some of those patients get up and either dance with us, or we'd see their hand keeping time, or their foot moving, or their heads bopping. We can do that when we pull up to a stoplight. We see the guy or girl next to us, and sometimes their head's bopping. Our body is keeping up. And we may not even realize that we're moving, but we're dancing. Sometimes, like I said, even in our cars, right? Sometimes some of us get a little crazy and dance full out in the car, or not full out, but it seems like we are. Be careful, you're trying to drive. But it's also known that babies, little tiny babies, react to music. I mean, think about those YouTube videos that we've probably seen, right? Sometimes it's little bitty babies in their little bouncy seat, or it's a little toddler that's, just barely able to walk, or 2-3 years old, preschooler even, and they bounce around. A particular song will become their favorite, and they absolutely love it. It just strikes a chord within them, and they can't get enough of it. My 5-year-old stepson, there's some music, and it's country music. So sometimes some people don't like country music. I happen to be a country music fan, as well as, of course, really cool dance music out there that's different. But, my little stepson loves it. There's a few songs that he'll be like, ooh, JC, I like that song. And he'll want me to, he'll want to kind of dance around to it, or at least listen to it and just kind of bop. And it's just really, really cool. And we all do that. We all can feel it. There's very few people that can't, then that's only because there's been some sort of damage happen to the brain, and that can affect people to not be able to feel the music, feel that rhythm. But it's, of course, exceptionally rare. In fact, the concept of little bitty ones dancing to it and so forth reminds me of over 24 years ago. I was pregnant with my first son, and I had my dance studio back then. And I was about 8.5 months pregnant, and I was really tiny. I wasn't a big woman at all, a very little girl. And I had just basically kind of run out of room for him. We were seriously maybe 6 weeks before he was born, but he didn't have a whole lot of room left. And he kind of gotten quiet and wasn't kicking as much. And I was kind of getting worried, and being my first pregnancy, I wasn't really sure, and I was just a little edgy about it. But anyways, we had a dance competition, and I noticed that every single time, of course, I'm sitting in the audience part of that day versus running back and forth to help kids dress or rehearse in the hall or wherever. But and every single time the music came on, my little man, which is a big grown man now, would start dancing. He would kick, he would move, and I remember looking at my mom going, oh my gosh, look, because my mom happened to be with me. She used to go hang out with us at competitions. And I said, he's okay. He's moving. He's great. And in fact, he grew up. Of course, he danced for years and years in my studio. He ended up becoming a musician. He plays guitar and you name it, all kinds of other stuff. I don't even know all the instruments that he plays, a lot of them. And right now, he's getting ready to take over the bugle corps because he is an airman in the Air Force. And where he's stationed, he told me a couple weeks ago, he's getting ready to take over the bugle corps. And I'm like, oh, I'm not surprised. Music is such a passion for him. And music is really also a method that we can all use to communicate and to express. It's a way to honor other people. It's a way, in fact, that we can transport. We do get the time travel, right? Because music lets us do that. It takes us to another place in time. Sometimes, yes, we're very grounded in it and right here in the moment, but it can absolutely take us backwards. It can move us forwards. And a cool thing that I discovered a while back is that bone flutes have actually been discovered and have been carbon dated back as far as about 40,000 years ago. And those ones that I read about actually play the pentatonic scale, which is, of course, the blues scale. So we've had the blues, the rhythm and blues, for 40,000 years. That's like super crazy pants. And of course, with dance, it's like, well, how could you prove that there was dance back then? How can that? Because I thought that was a really cool piece to consider. But there have been cave drawings that have been discovered that depict people dancing from thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. So music and dance have been around, we kind of could say forever. And I am adamant that those are two of the most profound experiences that pretty much anybody can relate to in some way. Now, not everybody can sit down at the piano and start playing, or pick up a guitar and make it sing, or play the trumpet or the bugle, any of it, right? But anybody can dance. Maybe you can't do big, humongous, beautiful leaps. Maybe you don't have great flexibility. Maybe you can't tap your way across the floor, whatever the case may be. But it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter your physical capabilities or not, right? You can move. We can, like I said, we can, even in the car, we can bounce our head. There's a little bit of dance going on there. And you can, that upper body may get going. Because it's about letting go and moving this amazing energy through your body, releasing it through your energy. And I do think that becomes kind of a spiritual, soulful component of dance and music. So with the evidence of music and dance for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, we know that not just now, but basically, again, I kind of forever, if we want to look at it that way. I use the term forever a bit lightly, but dance has just been used as celebration. It's been used as a way to release stress or anger or sadness, to express it forever, basically. I remember in graduate school even, which I did transpersonal psychology for my graduate education, and one of our classes for a seminar, we spent a whole day dancing. We did African dance, that is one of my top, one or two top all-time spiritual experiences. I was just beyond overwhelmed in a beautiful way. It was so emotional and such a deep, deep connection. It was amazing to hear the drums being played and getting to move. And we did a wedding dance, and I don't remember all of the things that we did that day, but it was, because it's been quite a few years ago, but it was so, so profound. So research has shown that pleasurable music actually causes dopamine to be released into our body, which is basically like a feel-good hormone, right? And then dancing, of course, releases endorphins in the body as well. So we get this double dose of dopamine and so forth. And there's also opioids that are really released into the body, and that's been proven through scientific research in regards to music and so forth when you hear it. And it uplifts our mood. And when you combine the dance and the music, and they're both releasing these great, amazing things into your system, well, oh boy, right? It can shift your mood like that. It absolutely can. It can just change us. And I'll tell you what, all this research is being done on it. It continues to be done on the effects of music on the brain and on the body. And of course, dance, there's research on that. So that really is leading us into biopsychology, which happens to be something I love and can geek out on. It was my absolute favorite class that I took back in undergrad was biological psychology. Probably one of the most complex, and for some reason I geeked out on it and fell in love with it. So see, we get to be dancers, we get to be excited about music, and then there's something else that just fires us up that we can't get enough of. And for me, one of those things is biopsychology. So for me to get to talk about this today, I'm like, woo, I'm excited. I just want to dance and I want to play music and I want to talk about stuff that you have to nerd out on. So I want to point that out. But on Mondays, because I'm going to wrap up because I don't want to take too long. But on Mondays, I am going to be talking about, like I said, moves, movies, and music, and bringing you different perspectives on it, maybe some different things that are going on in the world out there, some new move that's out there that's popular. Who knows what exactly I'll be sharing with you, whether or not I have a guest on Monday, that remains to be seen. But I probably will at times. But anyways, pop in, shoot me an email. Let me know how much you like a particular move, or you're curious, where did the stroll come from? I don't know. Anyways, or let's talk about the jive. Anything that you want to talk about, just bring it up to me. We'll dig in and we'll share, and we'll talk about people's feelings around it, or certain music, or what does music theory have to do with dance? That's another one that you can geek out on. So there's some amazing stuff that we'll be sharing and just talking about. And because I want people to really understand, Dance It, Change It is about creating change. When we apply music to our lives, and when we apply dance to our lives, in one capacity or another, it can create awareness of things, it can create change, it can shift our mood. So this is a powerful component in using dance as a vehicle to create change. Bringing music to the table and all the science behind it, and I want to share that with you, and I want everybody else to go, oh, I didn't know that, or share something else and just realize this is amazing to do. I'm going to shush now because I could geek out and I feel like I'm rambling. So, all right, make sure that you check out the Monday episode here on the podcast and keep your eyes out for those. If you want to shoot me an email, it is jc@jccormac.com. And of course, get your buns over to our Facebook group, Dance It, Change It, and share in there, join in there. It's growing. It's brand new. It's teeny, teeny, tiny as we begin to grow it. And I look forward to building a really cool community there for everyone to share their passion for dance and how we can use dance to change our futures, change ourselves, and grow as human beings and as souls. I love you all, and I will catch you next time.
Did you enjoy this podcast? If so, you can learn more about Dance It, Change It and JC on the website danceitchangeit.com. And make sure to tell family and friends. Thanks for listening. We look forward to you joining us again. In the meantime, don't stop dancing.